Good evening and welcome to all. Thank you for being here tonight. Laguna Monterey Water District notice of a regular meeting Board of Directors. Notice is hereby given of a regular meeting of the Board of Directors of the District to be held at 105 Port Road, Port Isabel, Texas on the 23rd day of October 2013 at the hour of 6 p.m. for consideration of the business of the agenda below. This notice is posted at the office of the District on October 17th, 2013 at 2 p.m. in accordance with Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551041-551-050, and a copy furnished to the County Clerk at Cameron County, Texas. We do have the presence of a quorum. All members are present. May I please have everyone stand for item 2, the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 3, invitation to the audience for discussion. This time, is there anyone that would like to discuss anything? Staff, board? Anyone like to discuss anything? Okay. We're moving on to item 4, consider and approve minutes for the regular meeting of October 9th, 2013. So everyone had a chance to review the minutes, and are there any questions or comments about any of the minutes?
Move to approve.
Motion has been made by Mr. Garcia for approval.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Vella. All those in favor?
Aye.
They are. Are there any opposed? For the record, Mr. Thomas abstains.
Wasn't here.
All are in favor. Moving to item number 5, consider and approve new lab equipment and supplies for wastewater testing procedures. Victor?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, we're trying to get this new equipment called Concentrate. What it does is it's going to test the enterococci and the E. coli in the wastewater. The equipment that we have now, our lab went on got a couple of other entities, and all of them are with this newer version. I think us and another district are the only ones that are still with the old version. So the price on this for this machine is with the warranty and everything will be $6,191. And they are the reason we didn't go out for bids or anything. They are the sole provider. There's nobody else that does this machine, that makes this machine. So I was just asking to see if we can go ahead and approve it. That way we can get it ordered.
And just for the information, the old supplies that we tried to purchase are obsolete. We don't have any of the trays or anything that's similar to what they're using now. They just run out and they don't make them anymore.
Once they're obsolete, you can't get parts for them. You can get
On the trays themselves that they're using now, since 2010, they've been going up about 1,000 every year. If we would end up going with the same trays that we do now, at the end of this year, we'd end up spending $4,627 just on those trays alone. So with this machine, being that it's going to be $6,000, it's going to cut our costs down way a lot more than what we're going to be spending on those trays.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Thomas, seconded by Mr. Vella. Are all those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you, Victor. I think it's excellent. Moving to item number 6, consider an award bid for Water Plant 2 Emergency Generator Addition, bid number WP-13-10-01. Charles?
Right. We advertised to supply some unfurnished equipment for this emergency generator addition at Water Plant 2, and it was for a 1,000 kW generator and also 2 automatic transfer switches. And this is to get the emergency power, obviously, at the water plant, which is in addition to the existing contract we have ongoing. And we received about 5 bids, and our low bidder was Lawson Equipment Company for an amount of $350,180, and we recommend award to Lawson Equipment for the supplying the generator and automatic transfer switch.
Was this part of the budget for this particular project?
Right. In these balance sheets that I already handed out, that includes adding this to the
Question to the chair.
Yes.
Why wasn't this in the original bid document?
In the original bid document, they had a disconnect proposed for a back emergency power, for a generator that we don't actually have. So we knew that the existing, or the plan that was left on the original plans really wouldn't work for us when the emergency did arise. So what we did is we got half on board to do a study, and then we added this generator, basically as a separate bid to the owner furnished equipment. And so it's an add-on to the original water plant 2 project, because without this change, we'd only have disconnects available for a generator that we have to rent or find how to get on site.
Why wasn't it in the original bid documents, seeing we know we need it?
Well, it was just a budget issue. They knew.
As far as I can remember, when previous management was here, they were trying to cut down, and they did away with the generator.
Do we have any letters from the engineers that say was it in the original proposal from the engineers that we would have this emergency generator?
Now, when I started with the district, the disconnects was how it was proposed from day one when I was here, for just having emergency disconnects for the generator.
Supposing that they were thinking that existing generator was gonna handle it, some way it can't.
Who made that decision?
Previous management here.
The manager made an engineering decision.
And the board also. It's coming out of bond money?
Yeah, it'd be funded through the Series 2012 bond.
Any other questions or discussion?
No. Do you know what make that generator is?
I don't know, the representative is here. You want to discuss the generator?
The make and the
generator?
KVs on it?
I'm sorry?
So, can you get up here and state your name? I can't hear very good.
He's old.
I apologize. What was the
Yeah.
question?
You don't have to apologize.
The make
for
of the
him being
generator,
old.
or the engine and the generator.
The manufacturer of the generator is Kohler Power Systems. The engine make is a Detroit Diesel MTU. The alternator is a I don't have it. It is a Marathon Magnamax.
And this, what's the KVs on it?
It's 1250 kVA.
And it's not something obsolete that we can't buy parts for it after the warranty is off or something like that. Something new, something that we can get parts and things for it after the warranty.
Absolutely.
Kohler's been around a
Kohler's
long
top
time,
of the
Robert.
line.
So is
Yeah?
Detroit Diesel. That's General Motors.
And how far do we have to go to get parts? I mean, call Houston or
We have our
anybody in the
facilities.
valley that sells.
Yes,
On the valley?
we have facilities in San Antonio, Dallas, and Houston. We've also got a service technician permanently in the valley with parts here as well.
And you know what part of the valley?
He's in Weslaco, I believe.
Weslaco? That was my question. And,
Any other comments or questions?
Motion approved.
Motion to approve by Mr. Thomas. I'm sorry, is there a second?
can't hear.
Second by Mr. Garcia. Are all the members in favor?
Aye.
There are none opposed. Motion carries. Thank you. Congratulations. Item 7.
You ought to be happy, Bubba. You just sold us a generator, didn't you?
Consider an award bid for Water Plant 2 clear well baffles, bid WP-13-10-02. Charles?
All right, and this was another equipment bidding advertisement, and it's similar to when we did our CT study. We realized to get a true 8 million gallon per day plant, we needed to add baffles in the clear wells. And so we advertised, a bid similar to the generator to furnish the baffles that will be installed inside the clear well.
Oh,
And we
Charles, I'm sorry, I'm having problems with my hearing aid. I ain't hearing you much.
Okay, yeah, well, this is the clear well baffle equipment advertisement that we did, because this was found during the CT study that RPS had done for us. And for us to get the plant upgraded to 8 million gallons per day, we needed to add these baffles inside the clear well so we could get our contact time for disinfection. And so we had advertised, for the baffles. We received one bid, which was from W WaterTech, for the amount of $39,796, and we recommend approval. It's a pretty good price for the equipment.
Can you explain to us what the baffles do and?
Well, the baffles, basically, it forces the water to travel a longer course inside the clear well, and
Yeah.
so with that increased length of time, it's going to give the chlorine a more distance to react and disinfect the water that we're going to be putting out in the system. And so it really helps us reduce the use of chlorine, chemical, like quantities, and then it gives us the time for just the disinfection to occur.
They were the only bidders?
Yes, well, there were 3 approved manufacturers, and these were the only ones who responded.
Question to the chair,
Certainly.
Let me ask.
why weren't they in the original bid document? Once again, I'm gonna keep hammering this thing through, because I'm gonna tell you guys something. Been in the private sector all my life. Anytime you add something to a contract, it costs more than it does if you go in, take it in on the front end. Every time. And don't even argue that point with me. I've been there too for 40 years. Why weren't these baffles in the original? Who was the original engineering? Who did the engineering on this?
Well, the original engineering would have been NRS, or today they're Norris Leal, and they should have done a CT study up front, which didn't occur.
Good enough.
Point well made. Thank you. Move to approve, Chairman.
Motion to approve by Mr. Keplinger,
Second.
second by Mr. Vella. Are all the members in favor?
Aye.
None opposed, motion carries, thank you. Moving to item 8, consider and approve change order number 2 for Water Plant 2 Microfiltration Plant MF equipment installation and furnish and install process piping CF 0907-12-09-03. Charles?
All right, if you look at your packet, the first page is the contract summary for what's existing under this contract, which is for Ferguson Service Systems to install all of the microfiltration membrane, process piping. And so their existing contract amount, including change order 1, which was approved at the time of award, is $626,783. And so if we flip over to the second page, these are the actual proposed changes. And in the first item, number 1, which was a deduct for using Milliken valves, and so we had deducted an amount of $16,500 from his original contract. But the way we did this water plant, issuing in multiple contracts, that valve was actually supplied by Paul in contract 2. So it didn't make any sense to be deducting it off of Ferguson. So this line item is to return that cost back to what it should have been up front. But at the same time, we also have some revisions that occurred in the fiberglass reinforced pipe during the submittal phase. And so at the end of the day, when you do all the decrease and increase from those 2 items, we're proposing a net increase of $10,525. And we're also giving a time extension, because the way this time was written on the contract, it just really wasn't accurate. And so we're getting this to a appropriate completion time to do all the performance and acceptance testing after we commission the membrane.
How much of a time extension?
296 days.
How many?
296 days. Because
A year.
A year. Yeah, I mean, in reality, they're going to start commissioning the first week of December, and that's really when they're done. But the time I included for all of Paul's commissioning to occur, in case we need to call him back for anything.
The 296 is from the beginning of the whole project, right?
No, from the beginning, no, from notice to proceed, from day 1, with this proposal, the proposed time would be 556 days, but they're going to finish ahead of that. They're, right now, I mean, they're on schedule to start the commissioning the first week of December.
Comments, questions, concerns, things to address? Is there consideration for approval?
Make a motion to go ahead and approve it.
Motion made by Mr. Vella,
Second.
second by Mr. Garcia. Are all those in favor?
Aye.
One opposing
We
vote.
need it.
For the record, Mr. Thomas is opposed. Moving to item number 8, consider and approve change order number Item number 9, excuse me. Consider and approve change order number 2 for water plant 2 microfiltration, project transfer pump station and yard piping, CF 090-12-09-04. Again, Charles?
Okay, and this is set up in the same format. On your packet, the first page is a summary of the existing contract and what we spent to date. So the existing current contract amount is $475,024. And if we flip over to the second page, this is part of it. The first 4 items are just some of the changes that occurred during construction as they were changing just some of the couplings or getting into the details of the fiberglass piping. And then item number 5 is the additional pipeline extensions for the chemical feed, which was again tied to the CT study where we changed our injection points. And so that includes, you know, the 2-inch and 1-inch extensions for injecting chlorine and liquid ammonium sulfate at these new locations. That's going to meet our proposed disinfection plans. And then at the same time, item 6 is a deduct of $9,000 for trench safety because they didn't need to use it. And at the same time, there's a $15,000 deduct for dewatering because they didn't encounter the dewatering during excavation. And then item number 8 is the installation cost for those clear roll baffles, which is an increase of $17,900. So once we combine the decrease and increase, we're proposing an increase of $11,950 to the current contract price.
Charles, is all these change orders and all these increases in this project, are we gonna come in on budget, over budget, under budget, or do you know?
We're gonna be way over budget, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Well, if we are,
yeah, I mean, the way we're covering budget is since Coates pump station and pipeline, we had surplus in that project. Well, the surplus from the Coates pump station and pipeline is what's covering.
Just on this project, on the microfiltration.
Yeah, on this project alone, without, you know, using another project to transfer funds over and cover it, I mean, it'd be over budget from the original plan.
But give me an estimate, how much?
Oh, gosh. The estimate, I mean, I would say, gosh, 600,000 or so.
350 was for
Right.
this guy's
Generator
generator.
alone.
Question? Item number 2, 1 8-inch coupling and kits. What's a kit?
Oh, I'd have to ask Ferguson. I mean, it's,
And how far did we move the building drain? Why did the building drain, why did it even get moved, and how far did it move?
I know we took out a manhole. I can ask that detail and get an answer back to you as follow-up.
I mean, it's only $500.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ductile iron coupling is, plus the kit is the attachment to grab it, so it won't move. So that's what it is.
Oh, that's what happened is, that was the interchange between the building contractor and this Ferguson contractor. And it was when we removed French drains at every drop and just added one French drain to this main line, it added this coupling to his contract. That's where this one item came from. It was.
So we added another trench drain.
Right.
And what about the vent assembly?
The vent assembly, I
Item
would
3.
think that probably had to have come out during the submittal review and doing the detailed, you know, fiberglass piping sizing, if that's the right spot. I'll confirm it with, the only 24-inch drain is the product water line that probably has a vent, but I'll have to follow up with the contractor on that one, or engineer.
Do you anticipate other change orders on this project?
No,
Because we've had lots of them.
I agree. No, this is sort of what's been building for several months now, and I got all the pieces of the puzzle together, so that's why it's such a large amount is being presented. But this should get us to final completion. I mean, the only other item I can think of is in the concrete pressure pipe, that where we have a concrete encased pipe with a steel cylinder, and we're going to have to do taps through this special pipe. It's one 2-inch tap and then 2 1-inch taps, and then we're going to have to buy injector assemblies at each location. And right now, that's gonna be an additional cost, but that would be the last item to get this project to 100%.
We're tapping into what, a 24-inch line?
Thirty,
Yeah, 30 inches
30-inch
is
concrete line?
it's a concrete steel pipe, and
What, Gifford Hill, we still got Gifford Hill out there we're using?
Yeah, today they're Hanson, but it's the same company.
That's the one we were having problems with.
Right.
Okay.
Hanson is Gifford Hill today, and we have to do 3 taps into their special pipe that they didn't want to touch, so I'm gonna have to work with Hanson directly and get that taken care of.
and all this is tied into the contact time of the injection points, for the 8 million, gallons a day treatment. And all this we encountered towards the very end because it was needed, all the contact time and the NRS or previous, engineering, didn't take care of it. And there wasn't in the specification, but we needed. So what we're trying to do now is make sure that we comply with all our requirements from TCQ and have everything that's needed to make it work right. Hopefully, after we're done with this, there'll be, nothing else that will be in violation of any kind of, rules or regulations. And that's why, I think that's the last of, besides the, taps, but that's, probably towards the very end. In a couple of months, or maybe one or 2 months.
Yeah, I mean, it would be, we'd have to get it in before the spring break, but get taken care of in the next couple of months.
Okay. When is the completion date? What date do you have here for completion?
Well, yeah, I mean, once we have commissioning, we're looking at a,
You had said November, December?
December.
yeah, I mean, I know the Ferguson's bulk of their work is gonna be done, well, let's see, I guess, in the shorter answer, I mean, we're looking at, I mean, including the additional time that we need for the emergency power and the generator addition, we're still looking at a final in April, towards the end of April. We'd already be done with our commissioning, acceptance testing, and do all the additions for the emergency power.
Weather permitting.
But I mean, most of this is testing inside a building.
The addition of the generator shouldn't
No,
affect.
it really doesn't.
Won't affect completion date. I mean, it's gonna be in
No.
conjunction with what they're still doing, right?
Correct. Yeah, while the generator is in fabrication, I mean, we're gonna be doing commissioning on the membranes at the same time.
We can have everything ready for the generator set in place, correct?
I didn't hear you, could you repeat?
Said we can have the infrastructure ready when the generator is set in place, if it's on hold or.
Right. I mean, we should be
whatever.
having our working clearance for the building in about 2 weeks, so we're gonna have power on.
Are you gonna have to build a different housing or a special housing for this generator?
That's the next item.
Yeah, that's in the electrical
That's
change
the
order.
next item.
Next item.
But it's actually
That's the next item. You'll see
well, the
you'll see
proposed-
cost on that.
Yeah.
In the cash.
I don't know, I guess we wanna go to the next item?
Let's approve
We have to
this one.
approve this one, or-
Move to approve,
Right.
Mr. Chairman.
Motion approved by Mr. Keplinger, second by Mr. Vella. Are all those in favor? They are, none opposed, motion carries, thank you. Item 10, consider and approve change order number 2 for Water Plant 2 microfiltration project electrical improvements, CF 0907-12-09-05.
It's only $197,000.
Right, so I guess we'll skip through the current contract price is $907,149. Going over to the second page, item 1 was a power distribution panel in the raw water building that wasn't included in the original plans, so that was a $2,900 increase. The second one is a sump pump for electrical manhole 2, permanent, since we've had numerous flooding problems there. And so that's gonna be $1,605. And then the rest of this change order is tied to the emergency generator addition. It's putting in the generator slab, doing the install portion of the owner furnished equipment, and they're gonna put new switch gear. And and once we add the emergency generator to the first 2 items, we're proposing an increase of $197,136. And I don't know if you wanna have half explain some of the electrical improvements that are within that, that might help, you know, improve the understanding of why it's so big, but, we can.
$550,000 for the generator.
Mr. Chairman and members of the board, I'm Tom Dearman with Half Associates, Joey Trevino with Half Associates, and Gabriel Benavides with Half Associates. That's
How do you spell
H-A-L-F-F.
Half associate.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, okay.
And just a little bit about our company. Just a little bit about our company. I thank you for hiring us as the electrical engineers to integrate what might not have been in to the previous plans. We talked to Willard, we talked to the other engineer, and we integrated as best we could the things that needed to be added, and I think we have, with Charles's help, done that effectively. And with the bids we took on the generator, we had to run wiring from different locations, new transfer switches, and integrate with the existing equipment. But Half Associates, we have 450 employees. We're all in Texas. We're civil engineers. We're flood control. We also do wastewater treatment design, and we have that type of, and water treatment. And so I'm putting a plug in for HALF, H-A-L-F-F.
You walk dogs too, right?
Sir?
You walk dogs too.
I can do that if necessary.
Good enough. We're on the same page on this.
You know, but what we did is we had to run electrical to connect the generator to the microfiltration station. That was the big feeder. We had some splices that had gone on before in the area where the sump pump is that were causing some failures. We ran new feeders through there as well. We hooked up the high service pumps, some transfer pumps, the microfiltration station, the area over in the a new panel in the
There's a MCC one, which is a clarifier rapid beams.
in the chemical feed area. So all of those had to be hooked up with different service feeds from the utility with 2 transfer switches. We did not include, because of some budgeting areas, the old transfer pumps that are on the left-hand side just as you enter the plant. There were 3, I'm going to call them dilapidated 150 horsepower pumps that are not in this equipment hookup that we currently have. Any questions on that? I don't have the one-line diagram, but we had to relocate some equipment in the microfiltration station with the contractor in order to make sure that we used as much of the existing conduit and rough-in system that was there when we were hired to do the integration. I think with the contractor's help, we worked with the electrician, worked with Charles, and found the pipes, found things that could be used, and then integrated that with the new generator.
So we're gonna have, when it's all over with, we're gonna have a top-of-the-line backup system.
Yes, definitely. That's what we do.
You said there was, we got a couple of 150 horsepower pumps in there that are not going to be tied into the emergent generator system. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's the raw water transfer pump station.
Are we going to be
Isabel.
using those pumps? Do
Yes.
they need to be tied into the emergency generator?
It can be future work, because if those are down, it will not affect the operation of water plant 2. It's entirely separate. Basically, with those down, we can't fill reservoir 1 here in Port Isabel until power comes back on.
What are they? What 150? Well, they're, what, 3-phase, or are they single-phase?
Yeah, they're 3-phase.
Phase.
Well, they're on 240 volt, and the rest of the plant's 480. So we'd have to change out the
They're
server.
243-phase, right?
Yeah, the additional work to
How
replace.
much amperage do they draw?
Well, they use those pumps to pump water to Port Isabel Reservoir.
Each.
That's what they use them for.
They're not for that plant, they're for this plant.
Yeah.
Right, I mean, the estimate we got
Nothing to do
for
with
to add the
the
transfer pump
processing
station
of
is
water.
another 111,000, that's why we're not doing it, because we don't have the budget.
Just another comment. When the plant gets up and operating, and we then know exactly what the loads are, we may be able to pick up one of those pumps with the diversity factors, and if the SCADA system is integrated, which it can be, and then we know more information about how it's being operated, we can probably run a feeder over to that, to one of those transfer pumps. I
How
think we
far?
can.
Yeah, you can.
Sir?
How far is that? How many feet?
So,
Between the microfiltration and the transfer pump station, we're talking about 100 feet.
150,
Yeah, close.
100, 150 feet.
yeah.
We started to integrate that, but you know, we're,
we actually wanted
Yeah,
it to be
I mean-
connected, but the budget didn't let us.
Why can't we change the budget and get it done?
Well, I mean, right now those plans are on the shelf, and so we would do a separate bid for that, I mean, like separate advertisement, because I don't think it would be prudent to add to change order to this existing contract, we'd probably just advertise that one out.
And gentlemen, we don't, we still don't know what we're gonna do with this plan.
Right.
So it's probably good that we don't do it.
I didn't mean to open up a can of worms here by saying we didn't have that
No, you
hooked
haven't
up.
opened
That's
a
fine.
can of worms, you opened up our eyes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, if they look wormy, that's, you know, that's
One more thing
what
on the transfer funds, they're, you know, only an emergency, we can't use them, and we probably won't need it at that time.
Well, we probably would need it, but it's just for the water plant. But anyway, we never say we don't need nobody, you'll never know. But I'm gonna ask you something.
Yes,
You all
sir.
take pictures, you got forensic pictures, of what you did in high service pumps and on these locations you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
You have pictures? I'd like
Yes,
to
sir.
have some.
Okay.
I'd like
We'll
to
put a
see-
little packet together. We put some in the study, but we have a lot of pictures.
Yeah,
Uh,
I would like to see them and what,
I think
what
look-
components you used and everything there, you know, you were saying you just put conductors, or did you put actually starters or whatever, breakers or something like that?
We put some new switchgear, transfer,
Okay.
and those type of things in.
That's
Yes,
what I
sir.
wanna see.
Where the generator is now, there are some feeders that we could, or some conduit that we could use.
Yeah.
So we reused conduits that were still in pretty good shape,
Mhm.
extended some, moved some out of that existing building. To your point, we don't have a building enclosure around the new generator, but we have a very high, and maybe the gentleman from Kohler can comment on the painting system that we used aluminum enclosure, and we have special paint treatment on it. It's, you know, when we set something outside, we know it's difficult.
Yeah.
We know it. I'm just telling you that I would love to build a building, but if I have to spend another $100,000 to put it around there, I gotta tell you, it's not there. And later on, when you go out there and see 10 years from now the rust on it, you say, why didn't Dearman put in a building? You heard me say it, that we don't have the building. And we talked about it a little bit. That existing building would take a total renovation of that thing to try to extend it out to get this bigger set in. It's a 350, now we're going to 1,000. And it's a lot bigger than that existing building is. So that was, hopefully that, on the same page with everybody, that this is what we're doing and that we all understand it. Question, Mr. Bailiff?
I mean, we knew it was not going to be something small, you know, we knew what we had and what has to be done, and if we do it now, it won't cost us as much as we do it later, we understand that.
This guy right,
This generator is gonna be outside?
It's in an all-weather enclosure it's gonna be built on a platform, so the fuel tank is at the bottom, and then the generator sits up top on a platform, and then it's all-weather enclosure as part of the spec.
Oh, it's gonna have an enclosure.
yes, sir. It's not a walk-in, but we have some, access, steps and grates on the side, so when you have to work.
They're gonna love that.
Well, it's better than not having, you know, some people say put a ladder up there, but, that's much better. And I think,
Be able to crawl in and lay on your back.
How long will it take to get those pictures, sir?
do we have that report?
What was
The question is pictures. We have some pictures in the
Oh,
report.
I can go grab the report
Well,
upstairs.
yeah.
I don't have it.
But I can also put
I have the
together
report upstairs on my file.
a bunch of pictures that we
Yeah.
took. Do you really want to see some of the pictures that show the corrosion on on some of that existing equipment?
Sir, I saw it. I worked here. I saw it. That's what I'm
Yes, sir, we have it.
I'm glad you guys are doing that. It's something that should have been.
And I want to thank Gabe, has worked really hard to put this together with me.
We understand.
Nothing ever corrodes in the coastal bend area. No.
Well, you gotta think we're replacing 29-year-old,
Yeah.
controls.
So
and
that's something
switchgear.
from 1984.
Yes, sir.
I expect to have that.
Well, thank you. If there are no more questions. Yes, sir.
Motion approved.
Motion approved by Mr. Thomas.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Keplinger. All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed?
I ain't liking it.
Motion carries, thank you. Moving to item number 11, consider and approve investment report for 2 months, August and September 2013, to correspond with the new fiscal year. Robert?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, as you all are aware, this is normally a quarterly report, but since we changed accounting year to end September, I went ahead and did the investment report for August and September so that it will reflect in the future with the ending year. And start off with is the investments in tax pool. We have the ending balance for July of $61,088.12. We have the interest for August of $1.87 and September of $1.64 for the total ending balance at the end of September of $61,091.63. The bank accounts reflect a ending balance in July of $20,902,071.79, with activity that happened throughout the bank, a negative of $1,966,274.94. The interest earned on those bank accounts for the month of August was $2,227.59. Interest earned in September was $1,916.88. The ending balance at September on the bank account, the cash accounts, was $18,939,941.32.
What was the negative, the reason for the negative there?
That was the disbursements, actually.
All right.
On the following page, we have the investments in certificate of deposit. We had a ending balance in July 31st of $6,776,126.53. We cashed in a couple of CDs for $1,504,799.27. The interest earned during August was $417.28, and in September we had $1,603.60. That left the ending balance in September on certificate of deposits of $5,273,348.14. The total cash for the end of September is $27,739,286.44, with interest earned for the period of $4,763.78, leaving a balance at the end of September of $24,274,381.09. The two CDs that were cashed, the one for $503,394.19, that was deposited in the universal and tax account on the first page. That would be on the far left, you see the in-code account number. That would be account number 1120, and it was deposited to that bank account, the Universal Tax Interest and Sinking Fund. The CD for $1 million and $1,405.08, that was deposited to in-code account number 1104, the construction account 2007, and deposited in that account, which left that activity of deposit of $900,334. That is the investment report for the end of September. Any questions?
Comments, questions?
Move to approve.
Motion to approve by Mr. Garcia. Motion to approve by Mr. Garcia, is there a second? Second by Mr. Keplinger, all those in favor? Aye. For the record, motion carries, unopposed. Item 12, Consider and approve financial report for the month ending September 30th, 2013.
Yes, sir, on the monthly report for the month of September, the cumulative earnings on revenue was $3,699,902.42. The total expenditures for that period, this is from May through September, is for $3,126,488.19. We have encumbrances totaling $452,027.88. The revenue over expenditures after the encumbrances is $101,680.35. Included in this expenses, in that $3,126,000, we have $280,000 that was transferred to the debt service fund, which is not actually considered an expense, and that's to pay the 2007 bonds for this past year. On the following page, you have a list of the revenue accounts. Oh, I'd like to point out also, we did have a decrease in revenue, but as you can see on the top part, it's a percent of year completed, which is 41.67%. If you look at on the first page, on the percent year-to-date budget, you have 44.91% of revenue that was collected for the same period. So we collected a little bit more than for those 5 months, but we were still under as far as comparing it to last year. Overall, we were under approximately 6% in revenue. On the following page, one of debt service fund is the revenue of $372,559.05. We had expenses of $3,429,445.71, which is showing expenditures or revenues under expenditures by $3,056,886.66. And this does include the 2003 tax bond that was paid off of $1,071,945.08. On the following page, you have the list of revenues for the debt service. Most of it is in taxes that was received. Of course, this is mostly delinquent tax that was collected. We started collecting our regular tax this month. On the following page, you have page 1 of the capital projects fund, and the revenue on that is $9,896.95. We have expenditures of $4,222,245.25, which shows revenues under expenditures of $4,212,348.30. And of course, all these expenditures are coming out of the tax bonds that were reported in the prior years. The following page shows the list of where the revenue came from for the capital projects, which is primarily interest earned on the 2007 and the 2012 bond money that we still have. The following page is the emergency fund. Page 1 of the emergency fund is showing revenue of $1,104.02, and that is all interest. And of course, we have no expenses for the emergency fund at this point. That concludes the report on the financials for the year May through September 30th.
Comments? Discussion?
What is the balance in our emergency fund now?
It's $2 million, over $2 million plus interest that we've earned.
Thank you for the report. Approved by Mr. Garcia. There's a motion to approve by Mr. Garcia. Is there a second? Second. Second by Mr. Vella. Are all those in favor?
Aye.
They are, none opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Robert, I know that's a lot of work. Item 13, consider and approve budget for year ending September 30th, 2013.
Yes, sir. This is, as I've mentioned, a short year, and as you can see on the first column, you have the original budget request for May 1st of 2013 through April 30th, 2014. The following column is a five-month budget, which is from May 1st of this year to September 30th. And then we have the year-to-date actual expenditures, and I added the encumbrances that were still out there that we need to pay for this year that ended in September. And I took those two, and this is came up with a final budget that we need to put into our financial reports or our financial summary. It shows the revenue at $3,699,923 as reported in the financial report. The budget for a 5-month period is $3,432,856. The expenditure summaries here for each of the departments on the water plant. The 5-month budget is $631,296.67. The budget that's being requested for the year end is $638,641.96. On the lift station, the 5-month budget is $274,542.08. The request to close out that department is $237,700.47. On the construction maintenance, 5-month budget of $301,054.58. The request is for $342,046.11. For the collections department, it's $213,120.83. Requesting $230,956.82. The maintenance is $131,692.50. Requested $135,446.06. On the lab department, $123,640.83. Requesting $122,364.49. On the administration, 5-month budget, $628,478.75. Requesting $626,146.42. On the wastewater plant, a 5-month budget of $701,231.67. Budget request for year end is $681,216.62. The finance department 5-month budget is $302,184.17. Requesting $316,026. The electrical department 5-month budget of $117,403.75. Requesting $97,847.72. For total expenditures of $3,424,645.83. Total budget requested is $3,428,366.93. This should show a revenue. Here it shows $271,556.65. In the audit report, you will probably see a revenue. Well, not probably. You'll see a revenue of around $550,000 because of the $280 the way it's reported. Since it's not reported as an expenditure and it's just reported as a transfer.
Transfer to the debt service you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The debt service that was transferred, the money is transferred to the debt service for payment of the 2007 bond. The following pages shows the detailed by
Question
account.
on this page, Robert.
I'm sorry?
Question.
Yes, sir.
Item 3, we have construction/maintenance, and item 5, we've got maintenance. Would you
Yes, the construction
give me about
maintenance.
the apples and the oranges on this one?
Well, the maintenance, that's, the maintenance here where Bart is at. This is Bart Pettis, where the, auto and building maintenance out here. The construction maintenance is Joel Lopez, is out in the field, working on the, lines.
Distribution,
Distribution, I'm sorry, yes.
So under item 5 would be maintenance and distribution. The infrastructure.
Mechanical maintenance.
Mechanical maintenance.
Mechanical maintenance. Mechanics.
And what is all that?
3 is distribution.
3 is distribution.
3 is distribution.
3 is distribution, okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
Would you need to label that as distribution, or the way, you know, we'll
I'll
say in
change
the
that
future?
in our accounting system, this is the way it's.
There won't be a confusion.
Yeah, that would be better.
All right,
That's what.
move to approve.
Motion for approval by Mr. Garcia,
Second.
second by Mr. Vella. Are all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries, thank you. This is a lot of work going into this. It's a very tight budget.
Yes, sir.
Very good, thank you.
For 5 months, we came out pretty good. That was good.
Yes, we did.
Considering your revenues are down.
Yeah. Well, they tightened their belts a little bit, didn't you?
We will have to, especially because these 5 months would help. There was a summer month. It was when they have more need of, more demand on the water supply.
So we are moving on to item number 14, consider and approve the disbursements. Has everyone had a chance to review the disbursements? If so, can we get a motion for approval of all of them?
May I make a comment,
Yes?
Mr. Chairman? I understand and I realize that the payment for AT&T is showing in here $4,622 or so.
That was my
I did
question.
talk to Larry Nevlet, and
You tell them we
He
weren't
had-
gonna pay him?
he had requested AT&T to cut up those lines back on August the 2nd. Okay, and for some reason, AT&T decided that they couldn't do them all at once, but they did them in portions. And I just talked to him earlier this afternoon, and he had already communicated with AT&T, Alicia Love, and she had already indicated to him that we were getting $6,200 back at this point. However, he's still fighting for more refund because the date that she had was August the 23rd. And he forwarded some emails that he had sent to her back on August the 2nd, so they were gonna go back and look at this. So the minimum that we'll get back at this point is about $6,200, but it should be.
We're gonna send him the $4,600?
I'm sorry?
But we're gonna send him $4,600.
Well, that was, unfortunately, that was already sent, because we had to or make late payments on it. Then we'd get penalized. That was done under Larry Nevlet's recommendation, but as he stated, and he is working to get this money back, so they've already indicated that they will return $6,200 at this point. We're looking to get a little bit more than that.
When?
It'll be about the way they work, the way they cut these.
When we're dead. Oh, go ahead,
Yeah.
I'm just being facetious here, it's not very funny.
The way they worked in cutting off the lines, it wouldn't surprise me if they worked the same way in returning this money, so I'm estimating somewhere probably about another 2 to 3 weeks.
Weeks?
Yes, sir.
Optimistic.
I'm hoping.
Eternal optimist.
I would like to point one other thing. If you look on page 9 of the report, I think it's page 9.
Oh, yeah, got it. Can't we move these page numbers to the bottom?
Premier Voice.
The very bottom, Premier VoIP, this is what replaced our AT&T system, and the payment for this past month was $184.50.
So we're gonna be down from 4,600 to 184.
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
What I am looking at doing though is I've talked to Letitia Eve from AT&T, and I discussed this with Carlos about getting at least one fax line and having at least one hard line. And that way we've got the best of two worlds. If something happens to the internet, our phone system is down, we have at least one line that we can rely on.
Yeah, you need a fax.
Move to approve.
Motion approved by Mr. Cavalier. Second by Mr. Vella. Are all those in favor?
Aye.
There are none opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Item 15, General Manager's Report. Item A, electrical billing for Cuates Pump Station.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I wanted to report to the board on the, last year's payments on the electrical bill from, if you go down to the very bottom of that page, it says 050812 through 060812. And compared to the one that's above at 050813, 060713, and we have cut the cost of the electrical bill in half. Is that new pump at the Cuates that we installed in May, and you can see the trend for the next 4 months that we've been comparing. It's cut in half. So, and the highest one that we had before we switched over the pump in April.
89.
April, yeah, 89. So that was that trend was going to keep going higher during the summer, because in the summertime.
Just in time. Just in time.
And at the same time, we're filling the reservoir faster.
Exactly.
And that's in a good way.
Right, more efficient pump and more flow. And I talked to my managers today at the staff meeting, and told them to look at this type of information on their electrical bill compared with, like, lift stations are gonna be installing new pumps in there too. To compare that as they install the new pumps and motors in there, and see if we can do better on everything that we have out there. It'll pay for itself and actually have more revenue for other things that we need to prepare for. So
Through the chair.
Yes.
Carlos,
Yes, sir.
might get Victor, have one of your guys go around to where they can get to them easy. I'm not talking about getting down the lift station. Start running some amperage on these pumps to see what they're pulling, because as they wear out, they're gonna start pulling. How many pumps do we have that might have hard start kits on them? That's a red flag right there. You gotta put a capacitor on that thing to crank it up. That
Victor's
means
smiling there.
and
We
all
must
it
have a
does
few,
is
we must
just
have a
sits
few of
there
them, man.
and just eats electricity. And that guy probably knows a little bit about, some of these guys might know a little bit about that. But I'm just no pump man myself. And, the savings in electric, plus the fact that we're not gonna be working on them as much. We need to start thinking about spending some real money on upgrading some of these pumps, whether it's in our grower systems, whether it's in our, pick a pump, pick an electric motor, in anything we do.
And with Robert's assistance here on the budgeting and all that, we're looking into that. So hopefully we'll do better.
Because you can see what happened right there.
Yeah.
I remember when I came on the board, a year ago, a little more. That was one of the first things I brought up when I looked at the what we were spending out at Cuates. Oh, they're running 24/7 to keep up. I'm going, anyway.
And that's all on that part. Then going on item B, we wanted to make sure that on November and December meetings, see what you all thought of, changing the meetings, the ones closer to Thanksgiving and Christmas. We all decided to change them to another date.
We're in executive session there, aren't we?
Thanksgiving's on the 28th, we have a meeting scheduled on the 27th.
That's right.
Well, that won't fly, will it?
Why can't we be at the meeting? Who's going out of town? Anybody going out of town on Wednesday?
Yes.
Yeah, why don't we have just
Sorry
one
about
meeting in
you.
November, one meeting in
I mean,
December?
Have a meeting without me, don't worry about me, but.
We don't worry about you.
So that's what you'll decide on that one, we need to know right now, because that way we can schedule everything accordingly.
Do we need to have two meetings, or can we get by with one meeting in November, one meeting in
I
December?
believe our record shows that we can get by with one meeting.
We typically have one meeting in
What do our
December.
bylaws say? We have to meet twice a month?
No.
No.
So,
County-wise, is that,
We're gonna get Wednesday off?
bill-wise, is that gonna be okay?
Yeah.
Payable-wise, I'm sorry, payable-wise.
Yeah, he said yes.
Yes, I'm sure he did.
We'll work
I'm sure
on
he
it.
did.
I'm always for a day off, you know me.
I'm sure Daisy would like, getting a day off and preparing an extra
I know.
agenda.
Daisy don't,
packet.
slaves don't get days off, Daisy just gets to work. That's right.
So what's the outcome?
We can do away with,
One,
the last meeting of.
one meeting a month,
Yeah.
November and
Hey,
December.
that's
Second
if
meeting of
emergency
November.
pops
Which
up,
days
call
will
us
those
emergency
be?
meeting.
Like okay, that means the one before Thanksgiving and the one before who?
Just try to cover as much as they can, you know, in one meeting.
So we're only gonna have the first meetings of the month. Man, that's gonna be nice. Won't have to look at your ugly.
Governors will thank you. Okay. Thank you, Carlos. Moving to item 16, item A, Series 2007 and Series 2013 bond project balance.
All right, so I passed out these handouts before the meeting, and the first one is an updated spreadsheet of our bond projects. And if you notice, just going to the first one that still has a balance is the Laguna Vista wastewater treatment plant water reuse project. And the committed amount is the amount that we owe to Balch just to finish out to release retainage. And then it also shows a balance of $58,000. And really where that's coming from is when I was reviewing the purchase orders, the first $50,000 purchase order for Flynn, for Ferguson Flynn, was charged to the general fund. And so basically we can reimburse the general fund, you know, with this balance. I've been tracking it on the bond money, but it's under a different GL account, so we can clean that out.
Charles, let me ask you something, on the 2007 bond budgets, you have the budget, right?
Correct.
On the far left column.
Yes.
That's not original.
The $9,815,000? So what was the original?
Well, no, I'm just saying, are like for the Laguna Vista wastewater reuse, right?
Oh, no, the
$766,538.70. That's not the original.
Correct.
That's not, okay, what I would like to see is maybe throw in a column
Okay.
showing what the original budget was and then what we're at now. That would really help us.
Yeah, we can do that.
Because I noticed down here, when you get all the way down to the bottom, I'll
Yeah.
jump ahead down to water,
Sorry, gone, yeah.
to the microfiltration plant, well, our original budget was not 6.9
No,
million,
it
it was
was
like 6 million.
Yeah,
So we're way over.
right, exactly.
But if you can maybe add a column the next time,
I can do that.
please, thank you.
Yeah, where's the okay, I can do that. Okay, so I'll be adding that column to it, help,
Awesome.
you know, explain things a little better. Just to sort of explain at the end, what committed means is that it's already in an existing purchase order, and the balance column, that just means the dollar amounts that are not tied to existing contracts, so that's still for future work. And if you jump all the way to the bottom on this water plant 2 microfiltration improvements, the change orders that got approved tonight are already in the committed column, so that's part of where the additional amount is at. And so, I don't know if you have any other questions, or should we, want to talk about this in any more detail, or?
I just wanted to see the column with the original budget, that way.
Okay.
That way we can point fingers later.
Yep, that'll work.
Yeah, I think.
All right, so I guess going on to item B, which is the master project schedule update. It's just a revised Gantt chart of our projects as a whole.
This is where we all start running from the room laughing.
Yes, it'll be quick. Of course, Laguna Vista sanitary sewer renewal is in situ form, and they're reviewing finalizing their recommendations to get the digging crew here the first week of November.
Where are we at?
I'm on item 29, which is Laguna Vista sanitary sewer renewal,
Okay.
and that's lining all the gravity sewer in the old part of Laguna Vista town area. And of course, where we're at today is the in situ forms preparing the reports for the contractor. We're looking at 7 point repairs, and the digging crew should mobilize first week in November. So that's where we're at. And then once all the point repairs are done, then we actually get the cured in place pipe installed for that area. But that's where that one's at. Moving on to lift station 19, I updated the schedule to include the contractor's schedule. The official notice to proceed was October 1st, and we're still on the tail end of electrical submittals, but we've already released the wet well, so that's in fabrication, which should be arriving around Thanksgiving time. So they're going to mobilize about a week in advance to start dewatering, and just continue through all the process, and we should be on schedule for completion by February 28th.
And our buddies L&V did that?
Yeah, L&V is the engineer.
Did we get any relief on the island parasites that are trying to suck us dry?
No, right now I'm doing some I'm trying to get the title research to see if that easement is still in existence, and then we can use that as leverage. But they still haven't resolved their negotiations.
Want to clue the rest of the members in on what the games they're playing with us over there?
Well, I mean, they're basically the contractor is going to need to park a trailer adjacent to the site, which takes about 10 or 12 parking spaces, and the property manager is trying to assess a fee for them parking their trailer on their parking lot.
$7,500
Right, but
to take up 10 empty parking spots
During the off-season.
right.
during the off-season.
So it's off the wall.
Switching on real quick down there, Jeff.
Who's that, Donahue? They've got more money than God, what do they need $7,500?
Well, and this
They ain't
project,
got
this
enough.
project is gonna
Got
benefit
it.
them, you know, 'cause,
They are the biggest beneficiaries
And
of
then we
this
overpaid for
project.
that property.
If I'd have known it was gonna be like that, I'd have said, let's just leave it the way it is.
Should've left it stinky then for them.
Yeah.
Well, luckily that's not any part of what we're under contract or obligated to pay.
I'm gonna give them a
so-
call.
Yeah.
I'll give them a call.
That's something internal
That pisses
to help
me
out the
off.
contract.
I'm gonna give them a call.
Yeah, even on the peak season, they're not, we have really.
I just don't wanna go over there and make them madder and put our contractor in, let's see how it works out first.
That's such crap.
I don't know.
That
Go
really
ahead and do
is.
what you gotta do. I thought about calling Paul, but.
You overpay for the property, you're helping them
Yeah.
to
Well,
do
yeah,
something, and then they're charging you.
And then they
During
want more
off-season.
money just to
During
park a
off-season.
trailer on an empty parking lot.
During off-season.
$7,500. Just want to get somebody, Daisy, if you tell them, crush your head. Sorry about that. I don't
Well,
generally
I just figured that was,
twist off like that.
right, it's something that I think's unreasonable, but hopefully we'll get that resolved.
When their water bills go up, don't come crying to us.
Right.
I think time to shut the lift station down for all the tie-ins will be spring break.
Right, so anyways, so I guess that's the, yes, it doesn't affect our amount. This is something that the contractor has to resolve to figure out how they're gonna perform the job. It doesn't affect us. So
He's
it's,
trying to stick the game, yeah, I remember, he's sticking the contract.
right.
It's Donahue and
Huh?
this and that and that. Tell me who runs that island.
So,
Anything else, Charles?
no, I mean, I don't know if we wanna go through every project or everybody's happy with the update.
I think I'm happy with the update.
I'm good.
All right,
I'm
we're good
good
to
with
go.
that. I'm good with that.
Item 17, executive session permitted by Open Meetings Act, VTCA Government Code Section 551.001, et sec. under 551.071, consultant with attorney Section 551.072, deliberation about pending litigation. We need a motion to go into executive session at
Break.
7:13 p.m. Yes. Then we'll take a short recess, 5-minute recess for a break. Motion by Mr. Keplinger and seconded by Mr. Vella. We are now in executive session. I need a motion to come out of executive session at 7:29 p.m. Motion by Mr. Garcia, seconded by Mr. Vella. All those in favor?
Aye.
We are out of executive session. Is there any action at this time?
No action at this time?
On item
No,
A.
it's just discussion on both, so
We,
I think,
how do we
Okay.
put that
No,
together?
you have the catch-all in the
We
bottom.
need to,
Just to have,
Oh,
Mariana
yes,
continue,
Continue
the-
Need, Rudy, please make a motion.
Yeah, I make a motion, Mr. Mayanas continue the initial directive,
initial,
by the board,
original
as,
offer.
yeah, as we had, agreed that we're gonna offer with, or settle with
Right.
Balch.
Motion made by Mr. Garcia,
second.
second by Mr. Thomas. Are all those in favor?
Aye.
They are. Motion passes. No other items in executive session require any action. Need a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:31 PM.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Thomas.
I second.
Second by Mr. Vella. Are all those in favor? Meeting adjourned. Good night to all. Thank you.